Good morning and welcome to Coffee and Tequila.
Coffee and Tequila.
This is a morning pop culture show. At least that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And we have been covering. We're kind of trying this out. This is a little new, but we've been covering a lot more news-related stuff and less entertainment stuff. And I'm hoping that here soon we start transitioning to more TV and movies.
We are doing like entertainment news though. Like that's what I enjoy talking about. I like talking about the entertainment news aspect of all of it, and I don't know, entertainment gossip. I enjoy that stuff, and you're more into the reviews.
I enjoy the conversations. I enjoy the actual content.
Okay.
I really enjoy the content.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. So we're gonna be basically playing around with the format here. So we're trying out video now, and we'll see how that kind of goes. Whether we want to do something like this like every day, or just like on Fridays, or
I'm definitely pro mystery.
He just wants it to be just the audio.
I'm pro mystery because you guys don't understand how much time it takes in terms of lighting.
Well, I don't want to sit and bitch about that.
No, I did. But let's talk about it. Lighting, putting cameras.
It's like a fair bit of setup, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a setup, and then I have to set up for my videos for reviewing, and then you have to set up for your videos.
Yeah. So what we're gonna
do?
There's
a lot of transition. It takes about an hour to set up.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna like see how like time consuming and like how much of an effort it actually takes to like add a video component to it. And if it's not too much, then I'll go ahead and put that together, because you're not doing that. He shows up. He's the talent. This is frenemies. He's the talent. He shows up.
Yes, but I do sit here for an hour while it's being set up.
Yeah.
And I stay still.
It's okay.
So
we're this whole show is just like a big tryout anyway. So we're gonna just be trying out a bunch of different formats and like seeing kind of what works and stuff like that. But I think we're pretty sold on the pop culture aspect of it, and like reviewing some stuff, talking about some entertainment news. And,
we want to be flexible and make sure that this is like a stress-free thing that we're doing.
Number one, stress-free.
And if it starts getting stressful, if it starts getting not fun, that's when I'm not gonna want to like be doing it.
I agree. Yeah.
Because I want to have fun while I'm doing these things, and I don't want to be worried about like all the additional aspects of it. And I want you guys to have fun listening to us having a conversation about things that we all love.
Yes. So we're just bear with us while we work out all of the kinks and stuff like that. But I so far have had a lot of fun doing these sort of morning shows. I really enjoy. By the way, it's not the morning. We're like Thursday night right now. So but I've been having a lot. He's had his tequila already. We have the coffee, and he's had the tequila. But I've been having a lot of fun doing this. I really enjoyed when my mom came on.
Well, no, I really enjoyed that too. I like having these conversations because these are conversations that we have for the most part every day.
This is basically us just doing what we do anyway. Just kind of because I don't know.
It's just a little bit more formal and like
we're addressing you guys
and having you guys be a part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like it's really fun for us.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wanted to do like a smooth transition into basically what we do is we have a bunch of topics, a bunch of like things that we were thinking about talking about, and then
just because I know when I get into a podcast what I would like to know what I'm getting into. So we're gonna be talking about Big Bang Theory. We're
gonna be talking
about Britney Spears.
You're looking at my notes too.
Yes,
you're not even.
We're gonna be talking about the Supreme Court case in Philadelphia, Anthony Mackie, Black Widow, Michael Cimino being bullied, and Love Victor.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a spoilery conversation at the end about Love Victor.
Well, we're gonna see. So there's gonna be a spoiler like review of like the first episode of Love Victor. So we'll kind of give you all a spoiler warning before that if you haven't seen it yet. But basically, what we do is we have a bunch of different topics, and we kind of go through them and see which ones we get to and which ones we might not even be able to get to everything. So we'll see. Basically, just time consuming because I'd like to be. I'm thinking like 30 minutes to an hour-ish is where I kind of want this morning show to sit.
30 minutes to an hour-ish, but I also want to have the ability to
nothing set in stone.
To have nothing set in stone. If we're having a good conversation,
let's keep it going.
I want to keep it going.
4 hours, man. The morning lasts for a while.
I think that's where like it kind of comes into like difficulties in terms of like audio and video and.
What does it come into?
difficulties. Anyways, because it's hard to sync things together, and then like videos stop at certain points.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It all started with a big bang. There we go. There's our transition.
Anyways,
we've been
Big
watching
Bang.
a lot of Big Bang Theory lately.
We had watched Flight Attendant with
Kaylee
Cuoco,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it because it is so good. It mixes, it's genre bending. It has comedy. It has mystery. It has a lot of really good things.
Mm-hmm.
And Zachary really liked it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, yes, this might be my way of getting him to watch Big Bang Theory. And we started watching Big Bang Theory, and he actually really enjoyed it.
I did. So we watched the first episode. He'd been trying to get me to watch it forever, and finally he just. This is the way to do it, by the way. If I don't want to watch something, I'll just not be into it. I just will not watch it. We'll never put it on. I promise he will watch it. We'll never put it on. He just put it on, and I watched it, and I really liked it. And now this is like we're on like season 5. I mean, these are like 22 episode seasons, 24 episode seasons, and so they're long seasons. But I really, really like it, and I love these characters. Let me tell you, this is a problematic show. This show is problematic.
So the show has problem areas.
It is looking at it through a 2021 lens. I'm like, holy shit, this is bad.
Which is so funny bad. Because like there's so many shows from back then that you look through them through this lens. And let's just face it, it's this lens because like back then, like I didn't recognize
nobody
this.
I mean, I don't want to say nobody was recognizing because there were people raising concerns at the time and stuff like that, but we definitely weren't. And you can definitely see going through each season, like because the jokes are getting less and less problematic, but still very problematic. But you can see like
the growth
of society. We can see it's very reflective of society at the time.
And it's nice. I think it was the 4th season where the women, because at first it's just like the 4 men and Penny, and now they actually have a girl gang. And I really liked the development of the show, and I really fell in love with the characters because I identify as a geek, I would say.
Yeah. And
it was really nice seeing a sitcom with just really geeky, nerdy guys. The only thing is, Raj is a queer coded character.
So there's you said the only thing is there's tons of
okay
there are tons of only things. This show is like insanely problematic and there's just so much to even like nitpick at and stuff like that, but it is incredibly endearing, and these characters are so endearing. And if we want to go ahead and start with Raj Koothrappali is such a queer-coded character. We're only on season 5, so don't spoil anything for us. He hasn't seen the last season.
I haven't seen the last season, so we're going to watch it together. So please do not spoil it for us. Right now, we are hoping that Raj
ends up gay. They lean into these gay jokes and like this gay, like he could be gay, maybe he's gay. There's no question that this is queer baiting if he doesn't end up gay by the end of the show, and so. And oh my gosh, the actor who plays Koothrappali is so cute. I followed him on Instagram. I wish I could remember his name right now, but he is so cute, and his smile is so cute. And like, I just want him to have like a gay romance and like a geeky little gay boyfriend, and them to get married and be nerds. And
I saw a tweet basically about like let Raj be gay and have his 6 foot something hunky gay boyfriend who cosplays as the Green Lantern. Yeah. And I would totally love that for him.
I want it. There's always a question of like, this show was so successful at the time, right? That it is bound to come back for some sort of like reboot or reunion or something. And so I hope that I'm anticipating 5 to 10 years before the reunion. Or before the reboot. I hope it's not like
I would definitely say 10 years, because I think like right now during the hate phase, we're like
everybody's just picking apart how problematic it is.
Yes, and I think especially when things get really really successful like this was, people really really love to tear it down, and I think in a lot of ways very validly.
Yeah.
Because Howard, for example, was like a completely sexual harassing character.
Howard is a sex pest. There are 2 characters on the show that I cannot stand, and I do not like these characters, and I'm ready for them to die. Kill them off.
Don't say that.
Leonard and Howard. I cannot stand these motherfucking characters. Ready for them to go. I don't like them.
Well, yes, and yeah, they're definitely really really bad because Howard is that one
He's
guy.
there's an
that,
episode.
like-
So he's a sex pest, and they definitely lean into like the comedy at the of the time, where it was like funny for this like nerdy guy who cannot get any
To
girls
objectify women.
and he just objectifies Penny over and over and over again, and he's like sexually harassing Penny constantly. He's constantly sexually harassing Penny, and she finally there's an episode where it's not really a spoiler, light spoiler. She like stands up to him, and she finally like gives him a taste of his own medicine, and it like gets him all down, and he like goes and like mopes around, and everybody pretty much shames Penny and is like, you made
Yes.
him feel bad. But like,
and they basically like
Yeah.
make her go apologize to him.
Yeah.
For her, oh my gosh, and it's just like in retrospect, it's so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it is really bad.
But like I don't wish it was corrected. I like being able to like see that.
Well,
and,
yeah,
and,
because
and
it
know
is a
that that was
slice
bad.
It is a slice of the society at the time.
Yes.
That's how jokes were at the time and stuff
And
like that. You know what I really like?
Penny and Sheldon.
Penny and Sheldon.
I knew you were gonna
exactly
say
what
it.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Penny and Sheldon are my favorite freaking characters in this show, and I love their friendship. I like the girl gang, and I like watching the girl gang a lot more than the guys. And I loved when the girl gang went out and like Sheldon joined them.
Yeah.
It was my favorite fucking thing ever.
And he was like, "We're about to get wild."
I know, like he went and did the waltz or something like that.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Penny and Sheldon are so great together though as friends. Like they have such a great friendship, and I hope that continues throughout the
And,
show.
and such a good actor chemistry because
Yeah.
I think Leonard was supposed to be kind of one of, if not the main
Yeah.
character of the show, and it just didn't work.
I don't think it worked. It just wasn't.
No, I loved
not-
him on Roseanne, but it just didn't work.
Oh, he's not. I don't know. I'm not a big Leonard fan.
Well, they had a lot of Roseanne people on Big Bang too.
They have like Darlene's been on there a bunch. You know what's interesting though is like I was thinking about it because I think this was a long running show. This is like 11 seasons or something. But I was thinking about it and like at some point they all started making like $1 million an episode, right?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking like Penny, she's like making Kayla Cuoco. I need to stop calling her Penny because Penny's not a real person. But they're like 20-something minute episodes, right? And so if she's in it from like 4 to 7 minutes an episode, $1 million per like 4 to 7 minutes.
That's
What
an
the
amazing paycheck.
shit?
That is a great paycheck. To be making.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
it's-
That is the type of like financial freedom that like these actors do not have to worry about like getting, each
Living-
and every
well,
role. They can live to like do the roles they want to do.
Yeah,
instead of,
because in a lot of ways, especially creators
Yeah.
and actors, they live paycheck to paycheck. That's a legitimate thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the Kaylee Cuocos and the Jennifer Anistons of the world.
she can hold out for the flight attendant is what she can do. But speaking of a lot of money and millions of dollars, Britney Spears.
Oh no!
Yeah, there's some Britney Spears news today. A couple different things. So first, like a petition has been filed to terminate Britney Spears' conservatorship. Now, it is not what y'all are going to think. This petition wasn't filed by her or anybody in her
What?
camp. I think it was like it's you see the notes. You're acting all surprised and stuff. He's like,
I was surprised when I saw the notes, though.
He's like, I cannot believe it.
I was surprised when I saw the notes because you told me earlier and I thought it was her.
He could see my notes from here. But he's so I guess like it's some people are thinking that a fan did this, but it's not her, not anybody from her camp or like anybody around her. So it's kind of weird. I don't know what the laws are and like who can actually get. I'd have done it 2 years ago if I knew I could do it.
Well, I don't know how like legit that's gonna be in terms of. I really don't know enough about the legal system that surrounds a conservatorship, and whether that will actually hold.
I know. Well, I wonder if like maybe a dog pile will, have any sort of effect if a bunch of people start doing that or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, she. What?
Well, I was gonna say that you showed me a video earlier where
We're not there yet.
she was.
We're not there yet. So she is going to be speaking in court next week, like 6 to 7 days from now. She'll be speaking in court. I don't think she'll be in court, but she's gonna be speaking like over Zoom or something like that. And so we're definitely gonna be covering more of her around that time because I'm like super stoked about that. I want to hear what she has to say. But so she has never, to my knowledge, she has never gone and like tried to file to terminate the conservatorship herself. But there is a lot of talk that there's a lot of talk that that her kids are kind of being weaponized against her, and they have been over the last 13 years, and just to kind of keep her in line and stuff like that. And so that may be, I wonder if her speaking in court is going to be like the beginning of the dominoes falling to like terminate her conservatorship, or if she is going to wait until her sons are like 18 years old and then she's going to try to terminate it or something. I don't know. I'm like curious about it.
It's a real Sophie's choice, honestly.
Well,
because like it makes sense that she would want, because right now that her, you had already told me that her she has what, like 30% availability in terms of like seeing her children already.
Like 30% custody. I don't think she can actually technically have custody. I think Kevin's just giving her 30% of time, but
30% of time. But that's not something she would probably want to jeopardize.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
yeah, definitely, because she had more, and then Jamie Spears, her dad, like got violent with one of the kids, and like immediately after that her time was reduced down to 30%.
my
It's like
gosh.
insane. Like the amount of, I wonder how much she laments the time that she's lost of her children's time, like because her children are growing up, they're teenagers now, and like she is like watched them grow up. And there's a picture, she put out a picture not too long ago of her and her sons, and like they're so tall and they're so big. And I remember when they were born, like I remember the news headlines and being like, oh, Britney Spears had kids, and like how much time she's probably lost.
Well, it's crazy because it actually makes me think of my nephews and nieces, because we even just saw our nephews and nieces like a couple weekends ago, and they're so big. These kids grow up so fast, and like 2008 to 2007 for me feels like it was like a couple years ago.
It wasn't. No.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago,
and it wasn't. And these people are grown, and that's crazy to me. And they're born in the 2000s.
Yeah, so it's really sad, and I hate it for her. But yes, so going back to the video that you were talking about,
well, she was saying that she is comfortable in her transition right now.
Well, no, hold on. Okay, so if you're gonna read off of my notes,
I'm going off of the most important thing. I want to say the most important thing.
She posted a little video to Instagram today, or whoever handles her Instagram posted the video. It was like a video answering, a couple questions. And the questions were, what is her favorite business trip? And she says that her favorite business trip has been to Donatella Versace's villa. What is her shoe size? Size 7. And then this is the question you talk about. Will she ever return to the stage?
And she said that she is not sure. She's really good with her, where she is transitioning right now. And I think that's completely fair. I think that she's had a very much of a sprint of a career, a Usain Bolt of a career, and where she might have gotten tired out pretty quickly. Whereas like you have other people who've had like marathons of careers like Beyonce, I would say, has had a marathon of a career.
Where she's paced herself really well.
Yeah. And I think that's completely fine.
Well, Beyonce even said there was a little while ago during like the Sasha Fierce era, like right after that, she right between Sasha Fierce and 4, she said that she like had to take some time to like just travel and live because she didn't do that. You're getting tired.
I'm so sorry, guys.
And because she was just like going, and like she couldn't even remember, like she wasn't taking any of these moments, and she couldn't remember certain things because she wasn't really like just taking things in. And I wonder, like Britney Spears is exactly like that. It's like these people's lives are their careers, and I wonder if, because she's been working since she's such a little girl, and making money for her family and performing, kind of turned into just this job that she kind of had to do, and she was this workhorse for so many people because she was making so many people money, that like I wonder if and at what age she would have gotten burnt out and like tired of even doing it, because then you hear about child stars, and you see child stars, why kind of child stars don't really have careers later in adulthood. And one, I mean, there's that child star curse or whatever, but then there's like some child stars just don't want to do it anymore. You know, you look at Macaulay Culkin, and he was this big child star, and then I mean he still works now and he still does stuff, but he, you know, kind of stepped away from everything because he just like didn't enjoy doing it anymore. You know, when you're doing something fun and it turns into a job, and like you're just doing that as a job, it's not fun anymore. And I wonder if it ever became just not fun for her anymore, you know?
Well, and I think that's completely fair. And if you're going to do something, you know, you got to find fun in your job.
Yeah.
We just had somebody who retired today from my work, and he was like, if you're not having fun, you know, then you with your job, then you need to reevaluate things. You need to find the fun in your job. Too. And maybe, I don't know. I'm just hoping that she's happy.
I want
doing whatever she's doing.
So when she says well, whether she'll return to the stage or not, and she's like, well, I'm just enjoying life right now. You know, I don't know if I'll ever come back to the stage. And while I would love to have an album from her, and I would love to have like another show on TV or tour or something, I just want her to be happy. I just want happiness for her, and her to do whatever makes her happy. You know, I regret not going to see her in Vegas. I really wish I would have done that, because that could have been the last time, you know, she actually does like a set of concerts.
Yeah. Well, if she ever goes on tour again, no matter what, I will buy you a ticket.
You bet your damn ass I'm going to spend top dollar if she ever goes on tour again. I will be spending $1,000 front row, so everything.
Yeah.
I think it's like one of those things that we don't know how long she'll kind of tour for in her life, if she ever does again, and I want to have seen her in like live before I ever die, you know.
I will make a time machine.
Alastair does not like live shows, everybody.
Because I'm sorry, but you know, there's a reason why they do it in the studio, to perfect the music, and then it's perfect.
I almost went to I had an opportunity to go to the Formation World Tour, which, if you know anything about Beyonce, that was a big tour for her, big stadium tour, and I really wanted to go to that, and I asked Alastair, and he didn't want to, and so we didn't go. But
I just already go to enough formations.
I regret it definitely. I should have picked a friend and gone, but
and I don't want you to miss out on these things. I really don't, and I regret not. I don't know. I regret like my attitude towards it, because like I thought that I was right. I think
I just closed off to a couple things. We're both closed off to things sometimes. So, but it's okay. We'll just, you know, going forward, kind of remember that. But another piece of news for Britney. We will definitely be covering like a bunch one morning whenever she does speak in court. But another thing with Britney, NECA, NECA, whatever you call it. They put out last year. They announced that they were going to be doing like 4 Britney fashion dolls. And today they put out their first one, Baby One More Time. It is not my favorite. I thought I had high hopes for NECA, because their action figures and stuff are like really good. I really wish they would have the license to Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And you have a couple of them from Halloween. Those are pretty good.
The Laurie Strode one is fantastic. They did 2 for Laurie Strode. I love them, and I had high hopes for this Britney doll. I'm sort of in a I got it right here. I'm sort of in a phase right now where I've realized I make adult money, and I can buy my childhood back. So everything I wanted as a child that I did not get, I've been buying myself. And I didn't buy this one, but Alastair bought me this one for covering Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, I paid him in figures.
So I got this Britney Spears doll, Performing for You. And she's like cowboy, but like it's a great doll, but the face is awful. The face on these dolls are awful. I don't know why anybody can't get the faces right.
Except for that one person you showed me on Instagram who draws faces.
Oh, he does customs of like Britney Spears dolls, and like his faces are pretty dang good.
So sorry.
And so quit apologizing. No apologizing.
Well,
we're having this problem right now where he's apologizing for everything.
Apologies.
I have to say, I'm like super.
Except for NECA needs to apologize for that face.
They do.
But But I mean, we have built up such a collection of stuff that we didn't have as children. We have a huge Buffy
tons
collection.
of Buffy action
Now I have a
figures.
huge Marvel and DC collection. I have
Yeah.
Invincible, which is like really small, and I don't know. I once we get this.
You're doing
Oh my
shit on
gosh.
purpose now. I know you're doing it on purpose.
Once we get the studio established a little bit more, it'd be really cool to do a tour.
Oh, we should. I think we should. No, not a tour. We've done tours. We've done plenty of tours, but let's do
I haven't done a tour.
let's do a just like a haul or something. Like
I
a show,
do
a
plenty
show
of hauls.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. We'll do something. We'll
It's a
figure out
tour.
something we can do.
I think you're getting this confused.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, oh, I guess we could do. Oh, it's not a haul. Okay, we'll do something.
We'll do something. Anyway, yeah, I have that doll, but I also have. I just got my first like custom piece ever, and it's a custom Britney doll, and I have an outfit being made for her. So I'm super excited to get that one. I want to set it up like kind of like a tour stage or something
Somewhere.
But we've been doing a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. That's that. And speaking of court,
Speaking of court, the Supreme Court in Philadelphia
okay, so not in Philadelphia, it's the Supreme Court.
and Philadelphia.
No, so
I didn't
like,
say in
I'm
Philadelphia
gonna kind of trying to get this
Which is ironic.
story.
because it's the city of brotherly love.
In the streets of Philadelphia. You know who sings that?
No.
Bruce Springsteen. So the Catholics Charities Group and Philadelphia have kind of been at war. So the Catholics Charities Group, it's like this group who works with the foster care system, and they're like place foster kids in the system or with families, but they have refused to certify same-sex couples and refused to like place foster children in same-sex couple households. And so Philadelphia was like, well, because Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia, like works with these groups and these foster care groups, and they said, well, we're not going to work with you guys because you guys are discriminating, which I think is fine. But so like they've been having this back and forth. I guess it takes a long time to get to the Supreme Court. But anyway, this Supreme Court today,
It was many steps.
yeah, they unanimously decided that to rule in favor of the Catholic Charities Group. So basically, the Supreme Court believes that Philadelphia's stance goes against religious freedoms and exercises, and that Catholics should be able to say no gays.
Well, I found this very interesting because there's a lot of states, and Oklahoma is one of those states where they have a lot of religious charity groups that control a lot of the foster care and adoption that goes on within the state. And because of that, for the most part, same-sex couples are ostracized, and they are not considered to be parents for these kids who are in need. And I find this very frustrating, I would say.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, and I'm not saying that the heterosexual couples don't have trouble conceiving, but I would say same-sex couples definitely have more trouble conceiving. But same-sex couples have to decide that they're emotionally, physically, and
Financially,
physically, like
ready
to have a child,
because
you
like
know?
especially like I mean this happens to straight couples too, but like when you're going to foster and adopt, like people are checking you out, making sure you're fit and stuff like that. Well, it's not with gay couples or with the same-sex couples, you can't just have the idea that you need to be ready. You have to actually be ready. We're not going out and just able to get pregnant, and a lot of same-sex couples not able to either, but like we're just speaking generally here. They can produce children, and so like when we want a child, and when we ever have a child, it will be because we wanted that child. We wanted a child. We made sure we were financially good too. We like chose not the child, but we chose to have a child because that's what we wanted. So like it's not like same-sex couples are taking this stuff lightly, and like what is wrong with the same-sex couple kind of having a child? I understand the religious freedoms and like exercises and stuff like that. Like I get it, and I get like the whole concern with like the First Amendment and that this is supposed to be constitutional and stuff like that. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you where I'm getting angry about it. It's like I grew up a Catholic. I know all about Catholicism. Catholics put more shame into anybody than a same-sex couple would. Let me tell you that. I guarantee it. The whole Catholic religion is just based and built off of shaming people and like getting you. It's not about a relationship with God. I don't believe it's about a relationship with God. I just don't believe it. I think you don't have to. This is my own opinion. I'm allowed to have this. I mean, your relationship with God is your relationship with God, and organized religion just like I think I'm at the point where it's just a bunch of hocus pocus and bullshit to me. And I think the Catholic religion is one of the most hypocritical religions out there.
Well, I think it's important not to generalize it. Maybe definitely with this
Oh, I'm
Catholic Charities group.
generalizing. I'm going to generalize it. No, I am. Because
But not for every Catholic person out there.
obviously,
However,
obviously,
I do think that the real victims here are the children
Are
who
the
won't
children.
get adopted. It's for the children. But are the children who won't get adopted because, like, my mom was a foster child and she skipped around a lot of foster homes until she got to my mama's home, and my mom was adopted as a teenager.
Yeah.
And I always really appreciate the fact that that side of the family adopted my mother, and that they have that. And the thing is, like,
we're reducing homes for children.
yeah,
That's what it's
well,
doing.
you're reducing homes for children. You're reducing the chance for them to have families, and that's the thing is that foster care, in a lot of cases, being a foster parent leads to being a real life parent for these
Yeah.
children, and a lasting influence. And
And the foster care
just
system
because
is
you're scared of
already,
the gay
like,
cooties.
the foster care system is already so fucked up that like you're just making it even worse. And like there are other foster groups that will certify as same sex couples and place children in those homes. But like fuck this group, and I don't care. That's where I'm standing on it. That's the hill I'll die on.
And speaking
and it's
about
discriminatory. So, how does this lead into the next one? I don't think it really does. It's just Anthony Mackie next.
Anthony Mackie was trending on Twitter today because he did an interview with Variety. So in the interview with Variety, so I read the actual interview. I'm pulling it up right now. It's the title of it's Anthony Mackie on his promotion
No,
to
goodness.
Captain America and Sam and Bucky's bromance on Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And so he really talks about his transition, about like working a lot in Hollywood and never getting the like the accolades
Yeah.
that he deserved, and now finally being able to like be a superhero and taking on the mantle of Captain America when he never thought that would be possible. And it's a really kind of, it's a pretty good interview, I think, if you guys want to read it and look it up. But one thing that Variety honed in on, and Twitter honed in on, was his comments about the bromance for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Goodness, everybody on Twitter was like joking about this one today.
Yeah, it was mostly jokes. I don't think anybody took it too seriously.
I hope not, because it's just the word of this man.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sorry. Yeah, here's one of the Variety tweets. Anthony Mackie addresses the Sam/Bucky romance rumors. So many things are twisted and convoluted. There's so many things that people latch onto with their own devices to make themselves relevant and rational.
Yeah.
And in another quote from that,
Okay.
Anthony Mackie about the fans' desire for a relationship with Sam and Bucky. It is so rare to see male friendship and male platonic love in a superhero context. What it's like for you to play. He did play a gay character for one of the Black Mirror episodes, in which him and his buddy were online, and because they were online, they played different roles. So he did talk about having done the gay thing before,
The gay thing.
but he's basically talking about how he is sad that close bromances, close friendship that are male on male friendships that are platonic
Yeah.
are so queer coded by communities nowadays. And I feel bad for him because I know where he's coming from. A lot of people were like, why didn't you take it like Mark Hamill? Where Mark Hamill said, hey, if you think Luke is gay, Luke is gay. However, I think somebody else put it pretty well. So he's at ZR Elor, and he said, Disney know there's a massive shipping fan base for these characters and exploited that to get views, while not making the pair romantic so as not to lose homophobic viewers. It's corporate queer baiting at a much higher level than individual actors can control. And I think that this is super accurate. Whereas, I think Anthony Mackie has his own opinions towards this, and I think that he's uncomfortable with his character being seen as a queer character, especially in relation to Bucky. Whereas Bucky has already been seen as a queer character by most of the community, with the I'm a Stucky purist shipper.
And I don't think like Sebastian Stan really gives a shit either.
No, he doesn't. And I think when people like Chris Evans didn't care, Sebastian Stan didn't care. They even encouraged it. And I think that because Anthony Mackie bucked against it, he's getting some backlash for it. But that's why I'm kind of a Stucky purist, because whenever I watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, I felt it did feel for me platonic.
I feel like the case was there for Stucky, though. I feel like the case was there.
I mean, Sam and Bucky, I felt platonic, whereas Stucky felt,
Yeah, no, I agree
queer,
with you. I agree with you. I think they were more leaning into Bucky as a queer character in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And they were kind of playing around with that without actually having to commit to anything. Because this is what Disney does, right? Is they play around with everything. They play around with people's minds without actually committing to anything. And then people get all up in arms and like, well, they never said these characters were gay or bi or anything like that. This is just people making stuff up in their heads. No, just like that tweet said, they
queer bait.
They do queer bait. They're fully aware of these like stand relationships and stuff like that, and instead of just like kind of ignoring those and going on with your story and stuff like that, they kind of lean into some of that without actually having to commit to anything.
You had the knee locking, the romantic going through the grass, but the thing is, like, yes, this can happen in platonic relationships. And one of the reasons why queer people make these ships so much, which guess what, these ships aren't hurting anybody. These ships are not hurting anybody.
Well, this is where
but one of the reasons why they do it is because we don't have these characters. We don't have these gay characters. And because even for like, oh gosh, I've talked about this so many times, but even for Captain America, Falcon and Winter Soldier,
my goodness.
The second Captain America movie, like the Russo brothers say, it's a love story, yet it's probably platonic the way it's written.
Yeah.
But for us, it felt like a gay love story. Like we were finally getting something that's a little bit gay, in the MCU, and I think that's completely fine for us to self-identify with that without it necessarily like being canonically true.
So the Falcon and the Winter Soldier as characters, they definitely had a bromance. It was just like a platonic, like love-hate bromance that they had. I didn't see them as a couple. I didn't stand them as a couple. Anthony Mackie, if he's getting all up in arms and butthurt that people are standing it, listen, they're just standing it. This is not ever going to be anything that's going to become something real. You'll ask your bosses at Disney, they're not going to do that to you. They're not going to make you kiss Sebastian Stan. I'll stand in for you. You want me to do that? I'll do it for you if it comes to that. I'll stand in. It's just like, what? Who cares if people are just standing it and stuff like that? What is the real harm? It's just a bunch of keyboard people on the Twitter and on the social media and stuff. It is not real life. It is headcanon rather than actual canon. It's like, we all know this. We all get
Stucky
it.
Is canon.
We freaking know, okay? So don't be butthurt about it. Just kind of like laugh it off. Just laugh it off. You're getting a whole ass movie, man. You're Captain America now. Focus on that.
But I think that what at ZR Elor said was pretty true. It was like, yes, I think people are focusing in on Anthony Mackie when the real focus should be Disney for queer baiting so much.
Yeah, I think so. Well, 100%, 100%. I'm not going after Anthony Mackie. I love you, Anthony Mackie. You know, I'm all for Falcon and him as the Captain America and everything. And you were pretty great in that show. So I'm Team Anthony Mackie, Team Sebastian Stan. Just like Disney, what
And
the
Team
fuck are you
Stucky.
doing here? What are you doing, Disney? What are you doing? What if we get an episode of Stucky? We should get an episode of Stucky.
Yes.
We should
Proposal
get it.
now,
Yeah.
a Stucky episode. Yeah. And you know what? Sam is their third wheel. Sam is their best friend that helps them get through this. You know?
Don't tell Anthony Mackie that. He might not be okay with it. Okay. I think we have to.
Okay, so
we have a Black Widow note here.
Just one Black Widow note, because they've actually finally had screeners out there for Black Widow, and they've been getting some really good feedback. Yeah. People said first Black Widow reactions praised Florence Pugh as a standout star for Black Widow, which, I mean, everybody's expecting Florence Pugh to do amazing. And then someone else, Hector Navarro, said, I got to see Black Widow last night, and as someone who has been waiting since 2010 to see Natasha Romanoff get her own movie, it was well worth the wait.
I freaking love to hear this, man.
Yeah, people are saying
to hear this.
That this is like the time that Scarlett Johansson really got to dig into the character in a real way.
And this should have happened a long time ago. I remember the SNL skit they made about, like, joking about Marvel knows women and she gets her own Black Widow movie. But then they never gave her an actual movie. Like, she had never actually got one. And now
she didn't get one until Captain America got hers. And they're like, oh, well, we can actually make money off of women now.
Well, she's actually getting one. And
Captain America, I mean, Captain Marvel didn't even get hers until Wonder Woman got hers. And they figured out. So everything runs through money. So, spend money on Stucky stuff. And then maybe we'll get a gay character.
Well, last year it was supposed to come out, and I was all stoked for it. And then they kept moving it with the pandemic, I understand. And they kept moving it. I didn't really get all but hurt that they kept moving it. And even when they moved it to July, whatever, July 6th? It's either 6th or 8th. It's not my birthday, no. I don't know. Whatever day.
No, 9th.
Something, yes. They moved it, and I was okay with it, because I want the best experience for this movie. It is not one of these, like...
We already have our tickets.
Oh my God, there's a lot of pandemic content that, like, was pushed off, and we just are now, like, I'm seeing the Ryan Reynolds, like, video game movie trailer in theaters again, and I'm like, what is wrong with this? This is, like...
It feels like that Mission Impossible...
The Mission Impossible and Red Sparrow trailers that we would see every freaking movie.
It
just
would
over and
for
over.
so long.
So long.
And they're both really good movies. But those trailers, I don't ever want to see those trailers ever again in my life.
And now all these trailers are starting to come back for these movies that weren't released. But Black Widow is one of those trailers where I'm just like, I'll watch it and I'll be super happy to watch it. And
they had a new trailer. The new trailer was pretty good too.
It's the same old trailer.
Well, no, but it pulls on me. It pulls on all of my emotional strings.
I love this character. I'm going to be so excited to see this movie. I don't think any of the hype for me was extinguished, having to wait extra long. It's going to be like with Halloween Kills. Like, none of the hype is going to be extinguished for me. I'm still excited to see it. And I love seeing that people are liking it, because it just makes me even more excited to see it.
And we're not doing Alastair reviews for Loki like we did for Scarlet Witch or for Falcon and
we're doing those reviews on here, though.
We're having those conversations on here.
Yeah.
However, for Black Widow, we will definitely be doing that.
A big ass review for it over on Alastair Reviews.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Oh, you better get there, baby. We're gonna get it. You excited?
I feel like you just jinxed us.
I don't know. I'm super excited for that movie though.
But I love all the hype, and I really, really hope, because I know it's split between Disney Plus right now, because it's that $30 charge and actual movie theater.
Well, we're going to the damn movies.
I'm hoping that it makes enough money that people, like, I don't know. I'm hoping that this character gets the attention that she has deserved, instead of just being that sideline character for so long.
Well, and also Scarlett Johansson is like...
She's probably the biggest movie star up until now, up until these Angelina Jolie.
I don't know where you go with these conversations, but I'm
No,
about to.
no.
Sometimes
Well,
I think we're on the same wavelength, and then I was going to say something
I,
else,
I,
and you
I guess
did
we're not.
it.
But I mean, if you think about them all, okay, Robert Downey Jr. But like the person who like works the most, like has like the most like outside influence.
She
I would
seems like
say
the
it was
most
her.
undervalued Avenger. I think.
Yeah.
I think she's the most undervalued Avenger, or she has been. And Scarlett Johansson, as an actress, like I mean, she's kind of put a bad taste in people's mouth. Whatever for some of the things she said and stuff like that. But
I think mostly
she's
people have shrugged it off by now.
oh they have. It's just like I hope that none of that kind of affects this movie, and like I hope people go to see the character and like give her this character her props as a final send off, or if she'll be back. I don't know. I mean, she's dead, but they can always do something. I don't know. I'm excited to watch it though. So
I am too.
all right, so let's move on to this next one before we get into Love Victor because we're kind of getting up there. Um, Michael Cimino, is that how you say his last name? Michael Cimino.
I don't know. You said you were going to talk to me about this because I
Yeah,
told you
I
did
have.
not
Okay,
the
well, I have
update.
the article kind of pulled up here. So Michael Samino did an interview with Attitude Magazine because Love Victor just came out. So season 2 of Love Victor, and he says I got some homophobic about playing the character of Victor. A queer character. I got some homophobic comments. I kind of expected that to happen. I didn't expect it from my own family members, though. He added, some of them reached out saying, used to be so cool. Now you're so gay. I chalk it up to ignorance. People have that programming and they often don't know they often don't have to evolve and try to push past that. He also says, I've definitely had some criticism from the LGBT community for being in the role. I've had death threats, which is horrible, but the show is important to me. The messages of hate, I came into it knowing that would happen regardless of how good I was. So he's talking about kind of getting a little bit of hate from both sides, you know, people, some straight people and some gay people, and
So is he straight?
I think he's straight.
Well,
I thought he was bi at some point. I thought somebody said he was bi or something, but he might be straight and might like know a gay person. Maybe that was what I read a long time ago. Something like that.
I know that was the case for the actual Simon actor, but I think that this is also a dangerous place to traverse because I've seen this definitely on in the book community,
Yeah.
where people were calling out, you know, authors for writing gay characters and them not being gay, and then the authors having to out themselves as gay. And I think that like it's a dangerous way to go in terms of like especially criticizing people who are trying to bring LGBTQ plus characters to the forefront.
Yeah.
And maybe they are straight and maybe they aren't, and maybe you don't need to be giving them death threats and threatening them for not revealing or revealing their sexualities.
I'm pretty sure he's straight. If I'm wrong, I will fully correct
Yes,
myself.
but the thing is, like,
So-
people shouldn't be, either way. People shouldn't be giving him death threats.
That's not what I'm saying.
And,
I'm not saying that.
And if he was a queer person,
Yeah.
and this is the reaction that he's getting, like, that's not good.
I don't think it's good either. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good to be bullying him and to be talking trash on him and stuff like that. I think if he is like a straight guy and playing this gay character, like I am not butthurt over it. I think there are a lot of people who, and I think butthurt is kind of a condescending word, so maybe I won't use that. But I think a lot of people are not okay with it because like we do need more queer content in queer hands. I do 100% believe that. I think we need to move more in that direction, and like queer actors should be playing queer characters. With that being said, I don't believe that queer actors should only be playing queer. I don't believe that straight actors cannot play queer characters. I don't believe that because I also believe that on the flip side that queer actors should be able to play straight characters as well. I think acting is acting, and I don't want the gatekeeping of. I don't like to see the gatekeeping of acting, right? Because and Scarlett, that's something that we talk about. You know, Scarlett Johansson has been in hot water for. Is like she's kind of been in hot water for talking about. Well, I'm an actor. I should be able to play this role and stuff like that.
That she wants to play multiple stuff,
And
which objectively makes sense, but then
Yeah.
subjectively, like, you kind of have to dissect it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I definitely agree with you. Like, more you know, queer stories and queer hands, but you know, I think like for these like actors, for example, definitely put for the forefront, gay people or people who like fit, the type of actors mold.
Yeah.
More so, but at the same time, like I don't know, like I just know all I can do is speak from experience in my own journey, because this
As an actor.
well, no, my own journey as a gay person, as a
Yeah.
queer person,
Yeah.
is I wouldn't be out at the time of life Michael Cimino is. I'm not saying that he's gay at all. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that like we need to be more respectful of people people's like I don't know, people's queer spaces, and I think that especially with this new generation, this new generation, Gen Z isn't as stuck as we were in terms of being sexually rigid. I think that this new generation is a lot more fluid.
Open to sexual
Yeah,
fluidity. Yeah.
and so I think that it's very hard to tell people, especially young people, hey, you can't play this character.
Yeah.
And I think that it's funny because we just watched Love Victor, and Love Victor, his younger brother says, "Oh, I don't want to watch Jumanji." And when they say Jumanji, they mean the new one, even though I thought they meant the other one,
Well,
because it's problematic because
and we're not into the
Blackjack.
review yet. We're not into the review yet.
Well, yeah, but because Blackjack played a female character, but I don't know. Concession needs to be made where like people who aren't usually able to play these characters, like trans people, for example, need to be brought in the forefront.
Yeah.
They need to be brought in the forefront.
Given
but,
much more consideration than they are
Yeah.
given currently. Like as trans characters in film and TV, yeah, I would say go and look at trans people first. Go
Exactly.
and look through the pool of actors that you have there, the trans actors that you have, and see, hey, is there somebody here that could work better than Scarlett Johansson? Like
Yes.
I do believe that. And then also going along with that, because it's not even on the flip side. I think also going along with that, then at some point when we have more when we're in the space that we do have more queer people playing queer characters, then we will be in a more open space to have just actors playing roles, because it won't just be given to just one pool of people. We'll have everybody being able to play everything. It's like I always go back to, like, there's a Hollywood Roundtable that I really like, and it has Regina King on it, I do believe. Hold on.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, what did she say? I want to look up whatever her. I don't remember. I don't have time to look up the quote, but
no,
she
while
she
you're looking it
basically
up.
wanted to play Joan of Arc. She says, "I would love to play Joan of Arc," and the table of ladies were like, "Yeah, you should play Joan of Arc." I would love to see. I love Regina King, so I would love to see Regina King play Joan of Arc and stuff like that. But you look at the Joan of Arc, and she's a white character, and so, for some reason, some people are like, "Well, she can't play Joan of Arc. She's a white character." And then you see. But I think she could. I think she could. And then we have somebody who there's this. I don't forget her name, but there's a black actress right now who just played Anne Boleyn. No problem with it. I got no problem with it.
I would love to see all of this stuff. Like, we need to give
Yeah.
special consideration towards people who are part of these communities before we give consideration to other people. However, and I think it's especially complicated when it
Yeah.
comes to queer identities, because it's a lot more. There's a lot more subtext to it. It's yes, definitely give the deference to, for example, gay people or trans people or non-binary people first. But at the same time, don't bully other people
Yeah,
who
let's
are in
not
those
bully
roles.
Michael Cimino for playing Victor. He's an actor who
Yeah.
got a role and took a role. He's
Yeah.
not Brad Pitt level who just took this role. He's an actor
Yeah.
who's like trying to begin a career and got this crazy great opportunity to get a show based off of like a really beloved movie.
Yeah, and it's especially actors, because
Yeah.
actors aren't the people who cast themselves.
Exactly. He's
He's
going out for a role.
until you get to movie star level, you're not like somebody who has that kind of say.
Yeah.
However, also, don't discount the fact that people, especially actors, like one or creators at all, want to be able to put themselves in roles. I'm not saying anything about Michael Cimino,
Yeah.
but want to put themselves in roles where they can experience something that maybe they have a connection towards.
Yeah.
You know, you have people who come out as gay much later in life. You have people who come out as trans, you know, in their 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
And that's something that they really felt inside of them. And I feel like we all just need to be more sensitive as, and yes, this is me being on my soapbox and I might be wrong, but we all need to be more sensitive towards like people playing roles where they themselves are exploring their gender identity and their sexuality and where they themselves fit.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it's not easy for Michael Cimino to play a gay character, or maybe it is. I don't know. We're in a very interesting time right now where we actually get gay characters.
We're starting to.
I'm really enjoying that.
I mean, no, we're not getting them a no Marvel show.
Yeah.
Not at Disney. We got to push to Hulu. Remember, because this show was supposed to be on Disney and they pushed it to Hulu.
They did have somebody in the background of a Star Wars movie that they took out after they sent it overseas.
They did. They got a 2-second lesbian kiss in a Star Wars movie they could cut out for the Chinese release.
And then there was that Pixar movie where the cop was supposed to be a lesbian, but they never actually had
Yeah,
I was like, you guys are J.K. Rowling all over the place.
I know. Well, the thing is, like, was Michael Cimino supposed to say no? Should he have said no? I think there's so much more nuance with like with straight actors playing gay characters and gay characters playing straight characters, and like there's so much nuance here that I don't. You were bopping all over the place, and you were gonna like. There's gonna be so much sound on this.
Bop 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 from the top.
I think there's so much. There's so much
inhibitions.
nuance here that there is no right or wrong answer here. It is just every society is, baby. Find a spot.
I'm so sorry for that.
Find a spot because I have to cut out all these little bumps you're making.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
I do.
People understand. You guys understand,
okay.
right?
There's I am forgetting my point. This is what he does every episode. Is he'll like just be doing this. There's so much nuance that goes along with all of this that there is no right or wrong answer. You know, we're all just kind of trying to figure it out and make everybody comfortable. And you cannot. Fact of the matter is, you can't make everybody comfortable. But I think there are, in my personal opinion, stepping stones to get to the place where everybody can just like, there can be equality within the acting world, I guess. But I don't think we're going to be there for a little while. I think
the pendulum.
The pendulum is kind of going right now. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I mean, that's a perfect little. Are you ready to say?
Yeah. Well, it leads us into Love Victor. So
okay,
for us,
let's give a spoiler warning first. We're about to get into spoilers.
Yes.
5-second warning. If you have not seen Love Victor season 2, we're going to be talking about the first episode.
Just the first episode.
4, 3,
and the first season.
2, 1.
So I will say this up front.
Okay.
Zachary and I were a little disappointed by the first season.
I was very disappointed in the first season.
Because they really played around with like it was almost like because they'd filmed it as a Disney Plus show at first, and then they were like, "Oh my gosh, they're making too much coffee, so let's make it a Hulu show," and like it's definitely the first season flirts with being gay without actually going all the way.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like the writers and the studio were like flirting with it to see how far they can go.
Yeah.
Before making the second season, and I like that. I like that in this first episode that they actually like they had gay characters, they had gay moments, and
it's what I really thought season that. 1 was going to be. It's almost like Disney approved this sort of pitch, and they're like, okay, so. Basically love Simon, right? He's gonna be gay. They're like, but don't make him too gay. They like
give him a girlfriend.
The notes came down from Disney. He can be gay, but give him a girlfriend, and don't say he's gay. Maybe say he's like struggling or something. And don't say any gay stuff until like the last episode. Maybe have him about to come out,
and then bring in Simon
before the season ends. And we'll get Simon. We know Simon's gay, but Simon can't be kissing nobody.
And then they saw him making coffee, and they're like, that's a little too gay.
Something. And then they get the show back. They watch the show, and they're like, oh, this looks a little too faggotry. maybe we'll move this to Hulu because it's too gay for Disney
Which is
Plus.
what happened.
It's like they didn't make it gay enough for us, but it was too gay for Disney Plus, so they pushed it to Hulu. Liz McGuire can't even talk about sex, y'all. Disney
know.
Plus, where are their priorities?
I know.
Where are their
They should
priorities?
just brought Liz McGuire to Hulu.
They should have.
This episode, I swear, it felt like I was watching One Tree Hill.
It was a decent episode. I didn't actually. There was a lot in this episode that
I'm
I
not
really
saying
liked.
anything against One Tree Hill. I'm just saying it's something against the intro. That intro,
I don't wanna
whoever
be anything
approved that
other
intro.
than would have been. So it starts that the way the episode started it did kind of annoy me, but then it like quickly corrected itself. It's like he says, "Mom, Dad, there's something I need to tell you," and then he says, "Never mind," and he starts to turn around. I'm like, "You son of a bitches! You're gonna do this again? Give us like 3 episodes before he comes out," and then he turns right back around and he says, "No, you know what? I'm gay." I'm like, "Good job."
And his parents, honestly, so I do think that his parents took it in a realistic way.
Well, there's just also I guess, remember, we're generalizing here because we can only generalize. There are individual cases always. But this is kind of a representation of like the Latino community too. Is like, Latino community is not that accepting of like gay.
For the most part.
My experience, and people I know in my family are not that accepting of it.
In my family, they have been.
Have they been, or have they been quiet about it and not really
No,
said anything about
I
it?
think they love you.
No. I'm not saying your immediate family and stuff like that. I'm talking about like there's people who like you don't talk to.
Well, I'm talking about like my aunts and my uncles and even my grandpa's not Latino, but even like my grandpa, who I don't think was about Zachary at all until he came to graduation and you guys spent some time together.
Yeah.
And you guys, I think, really connected.
Did we, or were we drunk? Because I'm pretty sure we were drunk.
Both.
So it's no, but the Latino community is like a lot of times connected to the church, right? A lot of them are Catholic.
Which we get that
and we
this
get that
episode,
here.
yeah.
We get that here. So the dad is more open, and he even says a little bit later, like, he's my son. I love him. What am I supposed to do? Just reject him or something like that? And the mother is actually the one, which is a flip from Love Simon, like, or I guess what, Love Simon. Both of his parents were okay with it. It's just that his mom in this one is having a harder time with kind of. It's not that she doesn't love her son, it's just that it kind of it's taken her aback a little bit, and she's having to go and pray about it and stuff like that, and we see her at the church lighting a candle, and she's like really trying to come to terms with herself and like how she can accept this, and she whenever people come to us and say, hey, I really want to come out, like I'm scared of my parents' reaction and stuff like that, I'm always my general answer
Safety.
that I like to give people is 100%. You got to worry about your safety. Do you think your parents are going to kick you out? Do you think like what's going to happen? Kind of consider what's going to happen here. And also, if your parents truly love you, if your loved ones truly love you, they are not going to care. However, give people a second. Give people a second to kind of process things, because like
people have expectations.
some people have stereotypical views of like being gay and stuff like that also, and you kind of have to like not ease people into it because that's your identity and you shouldn't have to ease people into your identity, but also like give people a second to kind of process, I think. And that's what the mom is kind of doing in this episode, is she's kind of processing.
Well, not only that, is the mom and the dad are also going through their own transitional periods.
This was my favorite, the whole thing of the episode.
Is they're going through their own stuff, and I think that finding out that their son is gay, it really shouldn't. It shouldn't, and hopefully in the future it won't be as much of an issue, but it is an adjustment, and I think that you can definitely see that it is an adjustment. They didn't act in the ideal way. However, I think that like sometimes, like you said, people need a moment.
Yeah.
And that's why like the way I came out was like I actually came out through email because I wanted to answer, because I knew that everybody's going to have so many questions.
Yeah.
So I listed out every single question I could possibly think about, and I answered every single question, and I sent it. And and that was it. And then I had a conversation afterwards on the phone, and it was fine.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Everybody comes out in their own way, and however they are comfortable. You know, I think that's one thing that was so impactful about Love, Simon, the first movie, was the fact that he was outed, and he like told his friend that was mine. You know, that was a moment that you took away from me.
Yeah.
You know, was being able to like come out.
I related to that just so wholeheartedly in Love, Simon, because that's pretty much what had happened. Is like somebody took a picture of a bunch of screenshots that I'd been texting my boyfriend, and sent them to like our whole friend group. And I mean, I have a whole coming out story about this, but it was just something that I related to in Love, Simon so much. And I just we're in a town in Oklahoma. I didn't expect anybody to be at this theater when we went to see Love, Simon, and it was a packed theater, and everybody was oohing and awing and crying and gasping at the same moments, and it felt like just a sense of community there. And I have such a fondness for that movie that I was let down quite a bit by the first season of this show. And this episode of the second season, I think, shows a lot of promise. You know, we have more of this, of all this stuff going on, and we're getting, you know, it doesn't feel like we're kind of holding back as much anymore. And I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, it definitely felt like the first season was dipping the toes, and this season
a whole
might
fucking
be...
season dipping the toes.
It was a whole
first
a whole
episode
season
dipping the toe, and then go into it. You know,
and now you have one of the best friends saying like, "I will ditch these gays like a corporation after Pride."
Yeah,
and it was like I think there's a lot of good moments in this first episode.
there's a lot of like also. This is kind of like reflective of like what teens are going through now, right? Like so many teens are so like
it's very different than our experience.
And our experience wasn't even that long ago. That's 10 years ago. It's about to be 10 years.
It is.
But I don't think that's that long ago. It feels like a couple of years ago to me. But like even now, like sexuality is so much. It just feels like it's so much more accepted. Whereas like hopefully one day soon, coming out stories and all that will like not really be things anymore. Because people shouldn't have to come out. It should just be like people just figure it out because they see you with a guy or a girl or whoever.
It's honestly so weird to think about coming out in terms of like a thing. It's like, oh, I like sexually this one group or romantically.
As I think,
if you're, you know,
I think
this one group.
I think about it, and I'm like, I did a coming out video. How weird is that? How weird is it that I did like a coming out story, or that I had to write a letter to my mom and tell her that I was coming out, or like come out to any of my family? It's just weird. It's a weird concept that shouldn't be a thing. And I guess people are still kind of dealing with that now because we see that here, but I like all the things that we're dealing with in this episode. So we're dealing with the parents splitting up and getting new places, and that's another thing. That's the first thing in this show that I kind of related to is that sense of like there's something. I hope this is not too personal on my parents and stuff like that, but like at one point they had different places, and I remember when my dad got a different place for my mom. It was just this, like, it felt like a gut punch. You know, there was something about it that just felt like a gut punch. And I can't even really put it into words right now, but it did. And seeing this part of this episode, it was like, I related to it and I got it. And then there's another theme of like, you know, Victor had a girlfriend, right? And she's having to also process this guy that she really liked, and like maybe it was just high school love, but like puppy love, but like she cared for this person a lot, and she feels lied to, and she feels like she, you know, lost this friend and this boyfriend, and so we're seeing her kind of having to process
she
that.
Genuinely like,
and she kind of feels othered too, because like the group is still hanging out. Victor is now hanging out with his boyfriend and doing like double date and like double hangout things with like Felix and
the Cordelia and Xander characters.
Well, Mia's best friend is with Felix, and Felix is Victor's
Felix
best friend.
Is my favorite character.
So they're all hanging out, and Mia kind of feels othered, and she's kind of on the outs right now, just because she's not comfortable around all of this, and that's really interesting to see as well. And I don't know, the whole thing is just like, I think we're setting up a lot of goodness for this second season. I have a lot of hope for this second season.
No, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm glad that we're finally. I feel like we played around too much in the kiddie pool, and we're now finally getting to the adult pool with Love Simon, and Love Simon.
I keep about to say Simon.
With Love Victor.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying this. We only watched the first episode. We're gonna try
Probably
to
this
watch
weekend we might watch
the
whole
rest
thing.
of the season.
Yeah.
If we don't get, you guys will find out Monday if we finish it or not. We'll definitely cover some of it.
Yeah.
But so far, we're enjoying it. But the thing is, like, the coming out process, the queer process is unique to everyone.
And to each generation, I feel like. To each
Yeah.
generation is like a whole, because like
A Slayer's Born.
our coming out like generation, like coming out stories were like are were
Vastly
like,
different.
and they were coming out stories were pretty big, like on YouTube. There was just
I looked up so many.
At one point there were just so many coming out stories coming out at the same time, because that was my generation's sort of way of doing it. And then I think back, like, you know, maybe the generations of the 90s and like the 80s, 70s, 60s, like, and how different all of these are from generation to generation. And I don't know, and I had it pretty good, I think, compared to people from the past. You know, there's some people who didn't even come out till later in life, like you mentioned earlier. So it's an interesting thing to watch, because we're not 17-year-olds, and we're not. it's like all of the gays listening to Olivia Rodrigo right now, and she's like 16, 17, and we're
Performing Paramore.
we're like almost 30. we're like driver's license. Got my driver's license.
Well, it's good. I think it's very interesting, and I'm glad that we're at this point.
Yeah.
Where we can have a Love Victor.
Yeah.
But you know, Love Victor came out in Pride Month, and my thing, and I think that it's been kind of stressed in the last couple of years, is that gay stories, queer stories, diverse stories aren't just meant for the month that they're celebrated.
Yeah.
They're meant for, you know, the entire year. They're meant for all time. And the thing is, like, I've grown up. I'm a huge fantasy reader, and I've grown up reading the most straightest of fantasies that I love so much.
Yeah.
Where people, in my opinion, actively world build queer people out of their stories because it just doesn't fit their own point of views. And I've also seen people say, hey, you know, I kind of like this book, but then this, for no reason, they made this character gay, so I stopped, you know, reading it because I don't know why they're pushing this in my face. And I feel like, as a gay person, as a queer person, like, guess what? You know, like, being straight, like, all the straight stuff has been pushed in our face so much for so long, and that doesn't mean that you can't identify with straight people or straight storylines, because I definitely can.
We've had to like find those little ins and outs where we do identify. You know, it's possible.
And it's just people being uncomfortable with queer storylines, and I think that hopefully eventually people will be as comfortable reading,
I would like
experiencing queer stories as I am experiencing, as we are experiencing.
Well, queer stories
straight
should
storylines
become so normalized that it is just a normal thing as the straight storylines and the heteronormative storyline. So,
one day people are gonna be like, "Oh gosh, why were they so upset about Stucky? Why didn't they just do it?"
Yeah, I'm hoping we see more Simon in this show, though. I would love like a Love Simon like sequel movie. I just want Simon. I fell in love with Simon.
Yeah,
he's such a great character, but I'm like iffy on Victor. I'm not a huge Victor fan, but we'll see how that.
I'm not a huge Victor fan either. I'm not. Yeah,
we'll see though. But yeah, we'll let y'all know what we think of the rest of the season when we actually watch it. And
we're probably going to be watching In the Heights this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of controversy around that one, so we'll probably talk about that on Monday.
Yeah,
so kind of wrapping up this episode. Juneteenth is tomorrow or
today.
Today.
Well, today.
What are we pretending today?
No, today is Friday. Actually, we're actually filming on Friday right now. It is the morning of Friday as we film.
Hold on, okay. I'm like all confused now. Go ahead and talk.
No, it is the morning of Friday as we film, and
Juneteenth. So Juneteenth is technically tomorrow because it's Friday.
yes, but they're giving the federal holiday.
Yeah,
Friday.
Yeah, so Juneteenth is not. I would like to acknowledge it for this, and I hope that all of our listeners and viewers who celebrate that holiday are going to have a great time. It's not really. We kind of had to talk about this in this holiday, and I'm really hoping this holiday doesn't seem to get hijacked like so many other movements seem to do. And there's a huge potential for this holiday to be hijacked, and I really hope not. So we are definitely acknowledging it, and we are wishing everybody a happy Juneteenth if you're celebrating it and stuff like that. And obviously we are. I don't want to say we're celebrating it. We are celebrating it, but I don't want to say like we are. I don't want to reap any benefits from
we are
a
recognizing
holiday. Recognizing it, however, we're not trying to reap any benefits from a holiday that is not really meant for us and is
but
not.
we're very happy that
I know
it's a
we've
thing.
never celebrated in the past.
Yeah.
I've never celebrated Juneteenth, but I know that a lot of Black people do celebrate Juneteenth, and I wish a fun day. I know that there's cookouts and there's like block parties and from everything I've been reading and what Juneteenth is all about for them and how they celebrate it, and I hope it is a fantastic day for you. And you know what?
Yeah.
We are sending you all of the happiness for that day.
Happy Juneteenth.
Yes. Yes. Happy Juneteenth, and
We will catch you Monday.
yeah, we're gonna catch you Monday. We're gonna
Have
go the
an
whole
excellent weekend.
If you like the
and-
video format, let us know, and we may continue it. I don't know. We're gonna kind of play around with format and see what we
Yes,
come up with.
but imagine the mystery of not having the
he
video.
does not want to do video. But
No. Imagine how mysterious that would be. Anyways, you guys have a safe and amazing weekend.
Yeah.
And
We love you.
yeah. Adios. I mean,
Adios,
Goodbye.
gentle viewers.
gentle listeners.
Bye.
Bye.